What's up guys, Duarte here with another Marvel Strike Force video, and today we are going to talk about the best Ultimus 7 team, and it's definitely not what you are expecting, and this is gonna be about difficult 3 and above. But before we start the video, I want to say thanks to everyone who liked my last video where I show you how to defeat the Black Order in Arena. And I also want to say thanks to Casino, and make sure you check out his channel. He showed my video to his audience on his live stream. He also used my team and gave me credit, mentioned my name and so on. And so make sure you subscribe to him and watch his content. And also make sure you check out OMG. He also talked about my team and also show my team on his live stream. And I really appreciate that. And yeah, make sure to check out both of their contents. They are both very funny in different ways, in their own way, but they are very funny, they are very informative, and so on. And yeah, so in this video we are going to talk about the best Ultimus 7 team, and I want to go back to a video that I talk about the best Ultimus 7 team with Ebony Maw and Black Bolt, and if this was definitely the best team ever or not. Because some people asked for me to give a suggestion of a team that used both of the new legendaries, Ebony Maw and Black Bolt. And I published this video, and I was very criticized for saying that this team was going to be good. I don't know exactly why, but it was before Ebony Maw came out was released in the game. And yeah, and because of that, and because people were not open-minded to what I was saying, and maybe because my channel was small, I was highly criticized and I put the video on private. A few months after, this was in May, a few months after, 1 month after, we have Alternate Reality and Chewburger84, and he used almost exactly the same team, and instead of Scientist Supreme, he used Minerva. Now this was before, my video was before the difficulty selector was released, and his video was after the difficulty selector was released. And my team was just theory crafting, and we didn't add Ebony Maw, so it was just exactly that, theory crafting. Still highly criticized for no reason, so much hate that I got on that video, completely unnecessary. But now that we have this video from Alternate Reality, once again, Chewburger84, and he's very good with the names for his team. Law and Order, it's an amazing name for his team. But while I see his team in action, this team is actually not that great. And that's why I'm glad that I put the video in private, because at the end of the... And back then I told you already, like, for me, the best team would be Ultron, Symbiote Spider-Man, Magneto, Shuri, and Scientist Supreme. In my opinion, that was always the best team. That's why I made the video a long time ago about that team. It could beat all nodes, including the last one, without using any items. So yeah, and this team right here, Maw and Order from Chewburger84, this team cannot beat every node easily. Most of them can, but not all of them. And this team requires items because it's not 100% reliable. And it has a huge flaw that I didn't take into consideration when I made my video. And I'm surprised that Chewburger84 also didn't take into consideration the huge flaw that this team has. So this team works, first he uses a 513,000 power team on difficulty number 2. So like that's a very easy difficulty. So, and with a team like this where everyone is gear tier 14, 7 yellow stars and most of them 6 red stars, So yeah, with a team like that, obviously, and against the difficulty so low, it's gonna look like the team is good. But if you watch the video, you'll see that he struggles in a few nodes and he has to use items. And when I had my other channel about other games, my goal was always to beat every single challenge without using any items. And when I came to Marvel Strike Force and start to make content about Marvel Strike Force, my goal is also to beat every mode or every challenge without using items or without using any resources, the minimum amount of resources possible. So energy, items, and teams, possibly teams and characters. So yeah, the flaw with this team, and something that Schubert didn't notice, is that when you use Hela, you have Greg, and Greg is great, but Greg is also a liability, especially when you are on this team, because he steals a lot of energy from Ebony Maw and from Black Bolt. Because he's jumping from one place to another, if he becomes adjacent to Thanos, he's going to steal energy. So he has the position in front of Ebony Maw, position in front of Black Bolt, and the position behind Thanos. So you have a very, very high percentage. So in 5 spots, you have a 60% chance that Greg will go there, and that then we'll have 4 people getting energy. So that was the flaw with my team, and that's the flaw with this team, is that Greg steals so much energy that he becomes a liability. And this team, in some nodes, the team is way too slow and it doesn't work on difficult 3 and 4, because your characters will get destroyed before you have the chance of defense up and offense down and so on. So yeah, this team works well on lower difficulties and on a certain nodes, but not in all of them. Okay, so with all that in mind, we have to think about overall perspective of the game, because everything changed with the difficulty selector. And it was not just the difficulty selector that changed, it was the entire business strategy that Scopely or Foxnex used. Because if you take a look, for example, at the raids that we have available and at Dark Dimension 3 and Dark Dimension 2, we have 2 different situations. So for the Greek raids, we have different nodes requiring different teams. And on Ultimus 7 before, we had only one team that could beat all of all the nodes. So which raid do you think that makes more money to Foxnext or to Scopely? Is it the Greek raids, or is it the Ultimus 7 raid before the difficulty selector? Obviously, the one that makes more money is the Greek raids, because you are using multiple characters, so they will sell multiple characters, so you'll have to invest in multiple characters and so on. And that's what happened with the difficulty selector about Ultimus 7, is that now you cannot use a single team to defeat every node. You have to use multiple teams, because even that some teams are good in most nodes, there will be nodes that the characters, the enemies, start with different abilities. For example, this node right here, the War Machine and the other characters, they will start with more energy than they should. And that's why you have to use other teams. And for example, on this boss node, on the second boss node, you will get destroyed if you use a team with Ebony Maw and so on, because it's just too slow. If you are not using Shuri or Shuri and Yo-Yo, you'll get completely destroyed, and 1 or 2 of your characters will die before you have the chance of doing anything. So it's not like you can use the same team everywhere. And that's true for difficulty above 2. Like 2 is just too easy. When you go to 3 and when you go to 4, everything changes. Right now I'm doing difficulty 1, but my alliance is doing difficulty 4. We are just doing difficulty 1 because we have new guys, and we are giving them the rewards from the first clear. Okay, so with that said, and I think this was a great business decision from Foxnext or Scopely, because this is a hero collecting game, HCG. And obviously, and this was the dream of all the toy manufacturers, is what we have right now with these mobile games. They are selling characters, like they are selling toys, and you have multiple versions of the same character. We have multiple versions of the same toy. This is a dream come true for companies like Marvel and DC and so on. So they have to maximize the amount of investment you put on different characters so they can sell more characters. And that's why right now they are releasing Squirrel Girl, because she will be another character that will be very important for raiding. Even if her team is not good for raiding, she will be a character that will require investment and will require people to buy packs and dragonstones and red star orbs and stuff like that to make her viable for raiding, because she is definitely a very good character. And this is the mindset that you must have right now. Everything changed. You cannot use a single team anymore. You need to use different teams to defeat different nodes. And now we are going to start the video itself, and I'm going to show you very, very different teams that I use in different nodes to take advantage of the node to make my team better. I'm using my enemies to make my team better. And that's really important, because if you can do that, that's less investment that you have to do on your own team, and you are taking advantage of your enemies. So yeah, we are going to take a look at a few clips and different nodes. The difficulty is, some videos are difficulty 3, the others are difficulty 4, but it's exactly like the same thing. It doesn't differ as much. But in the future, and on my Discord, that it will be for members only, I will have a list of all the teams that I use on different nodes to make sure you can one-shot those nodes and make sure you are able to go for the next node and be ready to do it like you are just starting. And once again, the goal is to beat without using any healing items, without extra energy, without using cores, without using revives and so on. That's always my goal, to be as efficient, as effective as possible when we are doing this type of challenges. Okay, so we are going to take a look at the first boss. This is going to be the first boss of Ultimus 7. And the team I was using, as you guys saw, Mr. Sinister, Carnage, Symbiote Spider-Man, Yo-Yo, and Shuri. We need Yo-Yo and we need Shuri because we want both the defense up, the deflects, and the offense down. Now we have Mr. Sinister because we want to clone Carnage. So like that we'll have 60% extra turn meter every time enemy goes on red health. So like 10% or something like that. So as you guys can see, now we have 2 Carnages, and we will use both of them to spread the buffs in different directions, so you can be as efficient as possible. And because of this, we'll have so much turn meter on Symbiote Spider-Man, on Carnage, and on the other Carnage, that is just crazy, the amount of damage that these guys can deal. And with this situation, we don't need other characters like Ultron or Scientist Supreme that can give us buffs and make us do more damage. So we are covering the lack of a character that buffs by other characters that spread debuffs and that can extend and spread and do damage like that. And on top of that, like Mr. Sinister is a very good character to bring to raids, because with his heal he can remove heal block, which is very important. So as you guys can see, like the damage is crazy. This is on difficulty 3, and my Mr. Sinister is at 5 red, 5 yellow. my Carnage is at 7 yellow, 5 red, and I got him to gear tier 14 recently. And my Yo-Yo, she's at gear tier 11 and level 71 or 69, I'm not sure at which level she was. And she is like 5 yellow, 3 red or 4 red or something like that, very low. And Shuri, she's at 7 yellow, gear tier 13 and 3 red. So my Shuri is very, very bad. But as you guys can see, we are destroying this node. It's the third boss. Some people have difficulty clearing it, but we are doing just fine. And this, once again, it's not maxed out characters. It's not a 500k team or anything like that, like Schuberger84 was using. And yeah, as you can see, you just have to know which character you want to clone, which in this case is Carnage, and which characters to prioritize to avoid damage, and then to stun or to offense down or defense down. But as you guys know, you can follow my videos to know exactly what you have to do. But if someone will need a step-by-step guide, we can do that as well someday. Okay, so as you guys saw there, Mr. Sinister removing the heal block, and that helps a lot Shuri because she cannot remove heal block unless it's a Wakanda character. And with this team, you don't need characters that give energy, and you don't have any legendary apart from Shuri. So I mean, this is characters that you can buy if you want to whale out, but I think it's a very accessible team, at least for now, while Symbiote Spider-Man is available. Okay, so as you guys can see, difficulty 3, and now we are going to another node and see a different team. So let's see which team I'm going to use here. Okay, so here I'm still using the same team because we have enemy Carnage. So why not take advantage of that? Carnage is the strongest character in this node, so we are going to use him to give advantage to our team. So this is also on difficulty 3. So you want to do just a little bit of damage on Venom so he doesn't get defense up, so we don't have to waste too much time there. Then you do the bleeds on Carnage, and then use the clone Carnage to do bleeds on other characters. So we stun Luke Cage so he doesn't do the defense up, so we don't waste time. Then we focus on Daredevil because he's annoying. We have heal block, but it's fine because like we have those symbiotes, and they are so fast that even if they have heal block, we can go fast enough to clear it out of the way. And then we just have to remove the heal block from the characters that are not symbiotes. But as you guys can see, both Carnages are destroying the enemies, no problem. We are getting some dodges and so on, but it's just fine. So many debuffs. For me, the problem with the debuffs is that you need to wait the character to take a turn to do damage, and sometimes if you are like unlucky or something like that, you can time out and you are not able to kill the character. So yeah, there I didn't even have to use the stun. I'm not even sure if it was the second stun or something like that. And yeah. This team is also good if you use Black Bolt because you have Yo-Yo and Black Bolt, but I prefer to use Mr. Sinister in this case. It's less boring, and I just prefer it. This team is so fast, you can almost put it on auto and win. And that's another thing about using different teams, is that you don't get bored of the same team over and over again. It was something that was happening to me a lot when we didn't have the raid difficulty selector, is that using the same team over and over and over again, it was just getting boring. And that's another way we can diversify our gameplay experience and make it more entertaining, because this, at the end of the day, it's a game, and we don't want it to feel like a work that you have to repeat the same thing over and over again, and yeah, it just starts to burn out on you. So we beat this node, difficulty 3 once again, in 3 minutes. So we had 2 minutes left. That's a lot of time. Okay, so now let's take a look at another node. Oh, this is actually on difficulty 4, as you guys can see. Okay, so another node on difficulty 4. Now we are going to use a different team. This is one of my favorite teams. It's very fast and it's very efficient. And if you have a node that many enemies are villain tech, you obviously want to use Black Bolt because he does more damage to villain tech with his passive. So if you are using Black Bolt, you need to use Yo-Yo, obviously. And you always want to use Shuri because you need defense up and you need the deflects. Plus, you have Scientist Supreme. She can be a healer and she can also give you buffs and also debuffs to the enemy team. So she's a very good controller and support at the same time. And then we have Ultron because he does a nice amount of damage. He removes buffs from the enemies and so on. And yeah, if you guys want to learn a little bit better about raiding and Dark Dimension and so on, you should check out my video, the 10 rules for raiding and Dark Dimension, that I uploaded a few months ago. So let's take a look at this video once again. It's difficulty 4. So yeah, not easy stuff. When going from difficulty 3 and 4, it's when you start to ramp up on the difficulty, and yeah. Okay, so the usual, we have Black Bolt, we have Yo-Yo. Because you have to pay something, you have to pay attention in this node, and we are just going through this really quick, is that when Black Widow does her special, if she gives speed up to Punisher or not. If she gives speed up to Punisher, you cannot use Scientist Supreme Ultimate, and you should not summon the bots from Ultron because there is a very high chance that Punisher will kill the bots. So yeah, that's something you have to pay attention and decide which order you want to do to make sure the bots survive. So yeah, let's take a look. As you guys can saw, that's exactly what happened. Sometimes I do this properly, other times not really. I'm not perfect, no one is, we are all humans, and even robots, sometimes they make mistakes. So yeah, now we have to use a character with slow, so you can flip the debuffs into buffs with Black Bolt. That's why it's so good to have Black Bolt and Scientist Supreme together, because he gets buffs so easily. So yeah, even that we lost the buffs, we were able to kill Black Widow. Now we are focusing on the Trooper because he's really annoying, and on difficulty 3 and above he starts to do a lot of damage. So now we do the ultimate, we clear all of them. By the way, my Black Bolt is only 5 red, 5 yellow. My Black Bolt is not 7 yellow and nowhere near that. So yeah, I'm saying this because you can compare the results with Schubberger's 84 video on difficulty 2. This is difficulty 4. And my Black Bolt is half of his. So here we have many villain controllers. We have Hydra, we have Mercs, Merc Sniper, Merc Lieutenant, Hydra Sniper, and we have Rocket. They are not villains, so they don't get any extra damage, but they are very squishy as well, so we just have to take advantage of Black Bolt. Scientist Supreme once again giving debuffs. We are going to flip those debuffs into buffs. In case Black Bolt doesn't get offense up from Scientist Supreme debuff, we can try to give him offense up with the bots from Ultron, and that makes a huge difference. If we have Black Bolt doing ultimate with offense up against a defense down character, he's going to do so much damage, and that's why this team is so much better than Schubberger 84 team. And I use this team for most nodes. I just change it because I'm bored, and I show you that even if you change the team, you will have very good results. And but there are a few nodes where this team is not going to work because the team will be way too fast. Number 8, the node number 8, if you take this team, it will be too fast and you will lose. That's the problem. The same problem with the Schubberger's 84 team. It works in some nodes, but it's not going to work in other nodes. And that's why you need to have different teams prepared to use in different situations. Okay, now we are going to take a look at a different node, the node after the second boss, I think. And we are going to use a different team. And this is a very different team. And I want to show you this video so I can show you that there are different options for raiding. So we are attacking this node. It's on difficulty 3. So let's get started. And yeah, like I want to use this video to show you that you can use different teams to beat different nodes, and you can do it very, very easily. So we are using Shuri, Mystique, Mr. Sinister, and Magneto. Many people think that Magneto and Mystique are only for Blitz and only for Alliance War. That could be that's like so wrong. You can use this team you can use these characters very, very well on certain nodes, and they'll be very, very efficient. And this is actually not one of my favorite nodes to use Mystique and to use Magneto, because in other nodes you can clone a Mystique and she gives you such a huge advantage when you have 2 Mystiques instead of 1. The amount of buffs that you can apply to your mutants is just insane. I'm not sure if I recorded one of those, but we might take a look at that in the future. So we have Mystique. We are going to flip everything because we want to kill War Machine as fast as possible so he doesn't apply stuns to one of our characters. We are going to clone, in this case, Star-Lord, because my Mr. Sinister is maxed out, so Star-Lord will have his abilities maxed out as well. So whenever he will apply blind, he will apply blind to 3 characters. Plus Star-Lord gives energy, so that's going to be amazing. Okay, so there we took a little bit of damage. Usually I blind Hulk and he doesn't do any damage. So this is not like my most efficient run, but you'll see that even like that we are still doing amazing. So the clone Star-Lord is full of buffs, and everyone is with defense up, regen, speed up, everyone that is a mutant or a clone. So there we almost Yo-Yo, she almost died, and yeah, that's the problem, and I made a little mistake there. That's why it happened. Usually I use Mystique ultimate on Iron War Machine and he dies right away, so I don't have to worry about that. But my rotation in this specific node or in this specific try was a little bit messed up. But yeah, as you guys can see, the characters are going down. We have 2 minutes left and we still have 11 characters to kill. So you think, oh, this is gonna be ridiculous. You'll not be able to do it. Let's just wait and see. The fact that we have Magneto and Mystique with buffs all the time is just insane. Magneto does so much damage with his basic, it's hard to ignore. So we have 10 enemies left, now we have 9. Now we have the dodge, but Magneto kills the other one, defense up with Shuri. We have characters with deflect, we have everything. Now we just focus on Doctor Strange, and he's dead. Now we focus on the other Vision and so on. Like 1 minute ago we had 11 enemies, now we have only 5. And now, just for the lols, I cloned their Vision, and this is fine because whenever you enter into battle, Mr. Sinister gets 3 energy. So even if you clone a character late game, it's fine because you'll have still energy to clone again on the next event. So we have 3 characters left, 3 enemies left, and we have 1 minute left as well. Once again, this is not my most efficient run, and now I saved my special for the next run. And now with Star-Lord, I'll probably apply blind on Hulk, so he doesn't do much damage. We had some nice dodges, and yeah. You just have to, you need to have an open mind that now we need to use different characters, we'll need to use different strategies to beat these higher difficulties and not spend any items. Like if you want to spend items, if you want to revive characters that you like all the time, sure, go ahead and do that. But I like to save money because I don't have much to spend, and this is a good way, saving items, saving energy, saving cores, and so on. It's a good way to be as efficient as possible and still get great enjoy out of the game. Okay, so now we are going to beat the node after that one, but it was from a different run. That's why the team I'm using, the team I was using before is a little bit different. So this is the node number 8, the node where some characters come with more energy than they should. And this time we are using a different team. We are using the symbiotes, Ultron, and Ebonimo, and Thanos. At this point in time, my Thanos was gear tier 13, 6 yellow and 5 red. And the other characters were sort of the same. I think my Carnage was not a gear tier 14 at this point. This video is quite old actually. So yeah, so you want to lower the attack on War Machine because it does so much damage to begin with. Now here you can try to do as much damage to him as possible because there is a problem with the Ronin. Ronin is going to remove all the debuffs from the enemies, so the most logical choice would be to apply defense down on Juggernaut, but because you are not sure which debuff Ronin is going to remove, then it's just better to focus on other things. Now when you have characters like Ronin and Nick Fury and Kingpin and so on, which is summoner characters, you should take advantage of characters like Minerva, characters like Thanos, that whenever a character dies, one of the enemies, you get a bonus from that. And that's why I use Thanos and Ebonimo in this turn, or in this node, because they are slow enough to be efficient. If your characters are too fast, it's going to be a problem because they have so many slow characters like Ronin, like Juggernaut, like Kingpin, like Hulk. And you also have some Euro controllers, not many. You have like 2 Quakes. That's going to give you a shield. That's an advantage that you can get with Ebonimo. Once again, all these summoners, you're gonna get so much energy because of that. And if you are using Hela, for example, the Greg is going to steal energy, and that's not something you want. And because you are also facing a Carnage, it's not good to have a character like Greg that dies all the time. So you have to make a balance around all these choices so you can find the best team for the specific node, and then you just fly through it. It's as easy as that. So as you guys can see, like we have 9 characters left. We have the stun from Symbiote Spider-Man that I could use at any moment, but I like to save the stun to use on Pyro, so he doesn't removes my buffs. And yeah, we are down to the final 5 characters, and that's pretty much it. Another node that use a different team, so you are not bored all the time of using the same team, different options. Most of the characters are at max health. We don't need too much healing because Thanos can heal himself. We have the symbiotes also healing themselves. We have Ultron that heals with the bots. And Ebonimo that does a little bit of healing, not much, but the extra that Ultron does with his minions is enough to heal the whole team, to make sure they are ready in case you need them on the next node. Which is not the case because we use a different team after. So yeah, this node is done. We have 1 minute left. This was on difficulty number 3. So yeah, like pretty easy. So you don't have to use items. We have all cooldowns. We are ready to go. And yeah. Okay, so now we are going to take a look at the node after the third boss on difficulty 3. And I've used a few different teams here, but I like this one. Is so much fun and it's quite fast. So we are using Mr. Sinister, we are using Symbiote Spider-Man, Mystique, Magneto, and Yo-Yo. I could use other character instead of Symbiote Spider-Man, but I wanted to get more damage. But if you bring Black Bolt or something like that, it's just fine. And yeah, the strategy here, and once again, you want to take your enemies and make your enemies your advantage. And the advantage here is that we can clone Nick Fury or Kingpin. I prefer to clone Nick Fury, but you'll be fine with either of them. And if you're using a character that has like a big source of energy for any character, you can help Mr. Sinister to clone more often. And you could not only clone Nick Fury, but you could also clone like the Magneto that is going to show up, and yeah, other characters that will give you even more advantage. So yeah, just take a look. So because Mr. Sinister, he has red stars, Nick Fury is going to have red stars, and because Nick Fury has red stars, the minions from Nick Fury are also going to have red stars. So they are not going to be completely useless like before, and they have their own set of buffs and abilities and so on. So it's just huge when you are able to clone someone like Nick Fury. So yeah, we have ton of enemies. Now Nick Fury spread all those buffs to everyone, and we have Mr. Sinister to spread even more. It's just insane. It's just insane what we can do with the right characters and with the right strategies. And once again, you can see that Magneto and Mystique, they are very good for raids. You just need to have the proper setup to use them with. There I stunned Juggernaut because I don't want him to get in my way. I focus on killing Merc Lieutenant because I don't want him to give speed up and offense up. This is difficulty number 3. So if they get offense up and speed up, you should run for your life because yeah, it's gonna be painful. Mr. Sinister comes out of the stealth, but he has so many buffs that it's just fine. We have now more clones. Once again, numbers matter, so the more characters you have on the field, the better for you. So yeah, that's why it's good to have summoners on your side. There we have to be careful with Pyro, because Pyro can remove some of your buffs, especially if Magneto is around. He's going to remove all of them, if I remember correctly. And yeah, we have 4 enemies left, and we have 2 minutes left in the timer. This is on difficulty 3. Like, no joke. Oh yeah, I forgot. I also have dodges, and it's so ridiculous. Look at the amount of dodges that Magneto and Mystique have. It's just insane. So even that Pyro used these special against me, I just dodged it, and yep, cool story, bro. And there we go. We have all cooldowns. We are ready to go for the next node, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Very, very easy. So yeah, guys, that's the best Ultimus 7 team. Well, in reality, there is no best Ultimus 7 team, because on these higher difficulties, you have no chance of using the same team on every single node. And you have to understand this from the side of Scopely or Foxnext or whatever you want to call it, because for them it's bad business practice if you have a team that can destroy every node. And especially when they are releasing new characters, why are you buying new characters if you can already beat every single node? So we have to understand their business strategy. It's bad for us, but it's part of the game. Don't blame the player, blame the game. But yeah, unfortunately or fortunately, I think it's something good that we actually can experience with different characters. We don't have to do the same routine over and over again. I think it's way more entertaining that we can play like this and so on. It gives way more space for content creators like me and like the other ones I mentioned in the video to theorycraft and make different teams and make better teams and so on. And I hope it continues like this, because I don't like the specific method that everyone has to follow. And if you don't follow it, or if you are unlucky with the red stars or something like that, you have no chance of defeating the content that is available to you. So yeah, guys, that's gonna be the video. I hope I didn't disappoint you with this video, but I just wanted to show you that it's possible to use different teams and strategize around the enemies that you have to take advantage for yourself, and different situations where you can take advantage of other characters that usually are only used for a few game modes and stuff like that, and the different strategies that are way more fun than just using the same team over and over again. But you guys let me know in the comments below what you thought of this video and what you thought about the characters that we used in this video. There are other characters that are very useful as well, but we can't cover all of them in just one video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what to do. Smash that like button like a boss. Yeah, once again, let me know in the comments what you thought about it, and I don't know, like if it's a good way to think about the game, or if you think it's like too restrictive, or if it's like too expensive to play that like this, or if you prefer to spend energy and cores over being efficient and focusing on specific characters that have these combos and strategies and buffs that do so many good things. Let me know in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys will share it with your friends that are struggling in a few nodes, and maybe they will see that, oh, I have this character that is so good, maybe I will follow this route instead of following this route. And yeah, on my Discord members, I will be posting the teams I use on specific nodes. The Discord is in development right now. I'm trying to go with it as fast as possible, organizing everything, organizing the roles and so on. And it should be up by next week, hopefully. It's so much things to do, and it doesn't have any content yet. It's just the organizing, the structure, and doing all by myself, and many things I don't know exactly how to do it. So yeah, I'm just learning along the way and trying to figure it out. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys later.